Sometimes people do things that just don't make sense to us. Sometimes those things aren't really a lack of sense, but are just downright lies, intended to fool you into doing something you normally wouldn't do. Say, for example, you're a senator in Washington and a bill comes up called the Inflation Reduction Act. You would probably think to yourself that this is good. This is exactly what the country needs. But then you read the bill. Nowhere in the bill is there anything about reducing inflation. In fact, the things in the bill will only make inflation a lot worse. The Inflation Reduction Act included $369 billion in new spending to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, invest more money in clean energy technologies, and extend subsidies for the Affordable Care Act. How would any of that reduce inflation? Instead, it would greatly increase our national debt. The bill also imposed a new 15% tax on corporations. Now, when you tax corporations, what happens? The taxpayer ends up paying more for everything. And that, to me, sounds like inflation increase, not inflation reduction. From the very beginning, the bill was never about inflation reduction. It was just named that to make the public and a few lawmakers who wouldn't actually read the bill think, this is a good thing. Before the bill was even voted on, the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office said that the bill will have a, quote, negligible effect on inflation. But we all know that it was much worse than a negligible effect. Then there was the border security bill. The Democrats said, if you want to secure the border, you have to pass this bill. Now, it did provide for the hiring of more Border Patrol personnel, but that doesn't do any good unless you let them actually send people back who have crossed illegally. A former head of the Border Patrol at the Tijuana crossing said in Congress that since the border was thrown wide open and they were told not to turn anyone away, even gang members and terrorists, that Border Patrol agents have become so dejected by not being able to do their jobs that suicides among them went up 30%. The first part of this item in the bill sounded good. It would have given the White House the power to shut down the border if, after the 7-day average number of encounters with illegal immigrants was between 4,000 and 5,000 per day. And then that would be discretionary, unless the 7-day average is above 5,000 per day. In other words, the administration would have the discretion to catch and release up to 5,000 illegal immigrants every day, almost 2 million per year. Now, does that sound like a border security bill? Again, just a pretty name that people hear and think, oh yes, I want that. I'm hoping that the new Congress will address the issue of naming things that are the opposite of what they are. The truth is, most of the public is fooled by this Washington trick. Just passing a resolution in both houses of Congress stating that no bills will be considered that have misleading titles would go a long way to helping the American people not be misled by legislators with hidden agendas. It doesn't take a giant brain to figure things like this out. Just uncommon sense.